This is Read Write Exercise, and in this video we're going to be going over how to convert an HTML table such as this one into a JavaScript array. And specifically in this one, I actually only care about these player values. So we're going to be getting single text items, a single TD, which is table data cell, from this table, and converting those into individual items in a JavaScript array. The inspiration for this video is this kind of bar chart race data visualization technique where you can see these different values and they're kind of jumping over and under each other. And it looks kind of nifty. I thought that it would be cool to do something like this for NBA all-time leading scorers, especially to see how scoring changes over the years, how players score more. James Harden scores like 40 a game sometimes, and he's probably, well, who knows? Scoring is just different over the years. But anyway, this was my inspiration, and I thought at first maybe I'll use some tools like Cheerio and do some web scraping, and then use the output from that and use this NBA.com API endpoints library. But I figured what would be easier than Cheerio is just to grab it straight up from the web page, from this Wikipedia page here. So typically for all-time stats leaders, I go to Wikipedia. That's just my personal preference. And I figured I could just write up a little JavaScript script within the console. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to be using basically just query selectors, DOM query selectors. So I'm going to go ahead and start with that. So basically, to start, I'm going to look at the inspector and let's check out. Normally I can't select the whole table just using the inspector itself. So I'll jump into an element within it, then I'll get the table. Let's get these classes here, and we'll do document query selector. Whoops, what do we want? Document dot query selector. And since we're eventually going to be getting items, let's do all. So first let's start off with these classes, and this is the set of classes that we want to select for. I think there are several wiki tables in this, in the DOM here. So actually if I just did wiki table, I would get a bunch of them. But now if I add those other two selectors, then I'll only get this one. And then you can see, actually as I just highlighted over it, that it's going to be this table that we care about. Okay, cool. So we have that. And now what we care about is within that we have the head, the body, and the footer. We care about the body. So we can go a step further, and if we do a space, then we can do body now. We can check that out and see that it's getting the body that we want. Right, so now we want the rows. So now if we go to, and one quick note here is that this node list that it's creating, it's very similar to an array, but it's not the same. Okay, so it's going to behave like an array in many ways, but you're not going to be able to perform array methods on it, which will be important later on. But I'll show you how to get around that. So we've got our T body that we care about, and then now what we want is our table rows. So let's see, this should give us 50 for the top 50 scorers that we have. Walter Davis, nice. Clifford Robinson, wow, some good throwbacks. Amazing to see people like Pau Gasol. Anyway, probably most people don't care about all-time leading scorers, so we'll just get back to the technical stuff. Okay, so we've got our row of, we've got our row of 50 here, or our node list of 50. And then within each of these, so each of these, right, are the actual DOM nodes of that row. So it's going to have like a bunch of stuff that we don't care about. So then within this row, we want to get this actual TD, table data cell. Okay, and we know it's always going to be the second one. I confirmed that by looking at all of them. Cool, so let's go ahead and get the TD. And because we know it's the second one, we're going to do nth of type and 2. So it's 1 based index. So now if we look at that, then we're going to get all these TDs, and each of these will have, where's our inner text here? Has the person, okay? And now So this is still a node list kind of array thingy, and it's returning these table data cells. So now we can assign a value to this. Let's say data cells. Let's call it player data cells. Player data cells. And we're going to say that equals that. Okay, so now if we have player data cells, it's going to give us that thing that we care about. And now, remember, if you remember what I said, that it's not going to be able to perform array functions like this, we can see what happens. So if we have our, let's say, player, then what we want is to return player.innerText, okay, because that was the thing on that node that we care about. So this hypothetically should return what we want, but you can see that map is not a function of this node list. So the way to get around that is to just use the spread operator, and we can do player data cells, and we'll spread it, and then we'll make an array and wrap it around that. So that'll basically convert it to an array. Okay, so let's delete that and then go up here and we can apply that same thing here. Okay, so now this is going to give us the array of all of the players that we care about. Now we have our top 50 list right here, nicely sorted, the same way it was before. Go to Walter Davis, number 50, and number 1, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Black Mamba, number 4. Okay, so now we have our list of players that we care about. If I'm going to use this list on these NBA.com API endpoints, then I probably want to get rid of these extra characters right here. So if you look back at the script that I did, in here I could probably, since this is just text, I could do some sort of regex on this. So do like replace, and then basically any character that's not a letter or a dash or a space. So to get rid of the star and these brackets and the numbers. But I actually don't really know what the regex is. I'd have to look it up. So I'm going to skip that for now. If you know what the regex would be, or if you have a regex that would work, I would definitely be interested. So please post it in the comments. If you have any other questions about this, then also post that in the comments. Or if you have other ways that you think would be more efficient to do this, like via some API, I would be really interested in hearing that. But that is how you convert a HTML table into a JavaScript array, just using basically simple query selector all. And based on this, then you'll use the spread operator and use map, and then you can do a bunch of fancy stuff from there. And in this case, I just happen to need only one string, but you could get the whole row contents if you wanted, and you'd have to modify the script in order to get that all into maybe a JavaScript object or something, however you want to do that. But this is kind of the basics of how to convert an HTML table to a JavaScript array. Hopefully that helps out, and let me know if you have any questions, and we'll see you in the next video.